I'm Raphael B. Johnson. I'm 34 years old. I am married with 2 children. I am a candidate for Detroit City Council. I probably have one of the most unique stories out of all the candidates that are running, because the worst thing that I could have ever done did not take place as a politician, did not take place as a husband, it did not take place as a grown man. It actually took place when I was a teenager, and it cost the life of an innocent man. That's something that I have to live with for the rest of my life. It's a circumstance that is not shared by many people, but it's given me something that hasn't gotten given to anyone else who's never experienced anything like that. And that's a heightened sense of compassion for human life, a heightened sense of passion and sympathy and empathy for the single-parent mothers, for those men who are incarcerated, who come home and want to do the right thing but have to enter a hypocritical and unforgiving world. That compassion has led me to do some remarkable things. Since that time, nearly 18 years ago, half my life ago, I was able to, at Judge Mathis, go through the incarceration and make the best out of it, as opposed to having prison in me. I was in prison, and prison was not in me. I was able to, after nearly 12 years, come home and be very resilient, receive several scholarships in University of Detroit Mercy. I graduated summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in legal administration. I received another scholarship in the master's program. Graduated in 2008 with a master's degree in liberal studies. I am a small business owner. I fly around the country helping out-of-control teens, controlling men. I'm on national television. I've been called upon by the United States Congress last year to testify in regards to juvenile justice policies that affect the entire country. Called upon by this state to testify for the same things that will be a state legislative issue as an expert for juvenile justice. I have been an intern law clerk for Judge Daphne Means Curtis in the Third Circuit Court. 2006, I worked at Goodwill Industries for several years as a manager, case manager. I balanced federal dollars. I am a certified paralegal legal assistant for the last 15 years, so I have an analytical, legal, critical mindset when I look at issues, policies, and contracts. More importantly, my biggest asset is the fact that I'm connected to our community. I think anyone who knows me and knows of my work, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, to roll up my sleeves and get right into the community, whether it's volunteering at schools, whether it's helping catch East Side serial rapists, whether it's marching down, literally shutting down crack houses. My work speaks for myself, along with those other members of our community who I partner up with, many organizations, Minister Malisha Bass, the Nation of Islam, Moral Science of America, etc., etc. So I'm running for City Council because everyone wants to change, but change is more than rhetorical jargon. Change is much more than promises, it's much more than lofty words, it's much more than saying one thing with your mouth and doing something else with your hands and feet based on who put money in your account or who contributed to your campaign. We have a model that says leadership should be the example of the change they want to see in the people. And I think, I humbly say that I represent the epitome of change in my life 180 degrees and overcoming some of those difficulty factors that we see educated politicians going through as grown folks. I was able to overcome as a teenager. So this is my ditch effort to allow our community to see hope, to inspire them to, no matter what they're going through, that they can be the best that they can be. And as long as they're breathing, this is a country that you can do the worst thing and still come out atoned to be the best and be whatever you want to be. I live in the 3rd District. My precinct is 27. That's over near far deep east side, Jefferson, Dickinson area. I see a lot of dilapidated homes. I see a lot of vacant fields. I see a lot of wayward living lifestyle. I see crack deals. I see suspected behavior. I see homes that are vacant. I see commercial buildings that are vacant or have squatters living in. As a city council person, I would want to be, my subcommittee's, standing subcommittee structure would want to be in the neighborhood improvement area. And one of the things that I see a lot of lack of hope, I see a lack of inspiration. We're living in a recession, probably one of the most recessive times since the Great Depression, the Roaring '20s, leading into the Great Depression of 1930. But one thing that's different that we had then that we don't have now is we don't have the hope and we don't have the family structure. In the Roaring '20s, going into the Great Depression, we had the Black Bottom, we had the area, Hastings Street, and although the entire country and even the entire state and city were worried, about their stocks, about their jobs. We fared well in our community because we had family. And we knew about family economics, we knew about family preservation, and more importantly, we knew about family reconciliation, being able to get beyond our differences. Family preservation is something I want to stress for neighborhood development. We want to hold homeowners, many of them who don't live in our city, accountable for the homes that they owe taxes on. Many of them, because I grew up in this city, as a young black man, I know what's going on the streets. What's really going on is that homeowners who don't live in this community, who can't buy, who can't sell, who can't rent, literally pay individuals $20 to $25 to burn up their homes, where they see that they can get more profit from collecting from their insurance as opposed to paying a mortgage every single month when they don't have any monies coming in. This happens, and then after the fire has been completed, they pay that particular person in that area, usually someone who's hanging out a bum, $25. So it's a total of $40 to $50 to burn up a home in our city. We have to take an aggressive approach. We have, with our team, we built, or we devised what is called property reclamation. Whatever's over on that property, you have 90 days. Anything that happens as far as fires, any type of maintenance that's due to that property, that a homeowner will be billed. I believe, and we are under the opinion, that if a homeowner is reluctant to pay that bill or pay the taxes that's due on that property should be redeemed and turned over to the city of Detroit. What we can do, many things. We can help the homeless. That home can be used to increase residency, displaced families, single-parent mothers. We can sell those homes for $1. We have money in our general fund, and we also have federal dollars to help empower and increase our neighborhoods. We can use for startup fees $2,000. When I was young, there was a home on my block that went for $1. We have to get back to that. There's ordinance on the city of Detroit that support that, for HUD houses to go for $1. So that's what we have to do. We have to empower our people who are living in the community, inspiring them that they can be hope, they can clean up their home. But I also believe that if elected officials are going to inspire somebody to clean up, they have to clean up their own homes first. So I think we should do home inspections on these so-called people who want to lead us. Because surely if your house is deplorable and you're living like a raccoon, there's no way in the world you can tell somebody else to clean up their own home and you haven't cleaned up yours. When I was a student at University of Detroit Mercy, we studied the social and economic status of the city of Detroit. And we had great minds in those classrooms that all determined that there's other ways that you can decrease the budget in the city of Detroit as opposed to cutting. Yes, some cuts may have to come, but I don't want to cut it all if we don't have to. There's a concept that we learned while I was at school studying this city. It's called base budgeting. Base budgeting is to analyzing and reviewing all the departments of the city of Detroit and see what essential role they play in those core services of the city of Detroit. Fire, EMT, fire, EMT, and the police department. Those are our first line of defense, our first responders. In a time of recession, where people don't have work, they don't have jobs, they're struggling from check to check, even if they are getting a check. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. I think we see that. We see police officers getting robbed. We see individuals waiting outside Metro PCSs to rob individuals. We see individuals going inside churches, trying to see what they can find, breaking in homes, trying to see what they can garner up to go pawn and go get some cash to pay for bills or to feed themselves. In times like this, our first responders should have all the supplies that they need. They should be well equipped to deal with the circumstances that will arise due to individuals not having money. So I will use the form of base budgeting. Base budgeting, the whole moral of that is to be able to merge and consolidate programs. We don't have 2 million people. We don't have 1.8 million people in the city of Detroit no more. So we do have to downsize. But to downsize with base budgeting means that you would kill overhead expenses, say for instance with administrative hearing building, and you remerge it back into the 36th District Court where it originated from. At the same time, you save people jobs. I'm even supportive of the fact that maybe we can go into 36-hour work weeks as opposed to 40, or maybe we can take an hour from over in this department since they may not have the hustle and bustle business of day in and day out operations. There's many ways that we can do, but cutting is my last option. I don't want to cut. I worked at Goodwill. I've seen my mother, as growing up before I moved out of my mother's house, seen them struggle with their jobs. I personally help individuals get jobs at Goodwill. It's depressing to see people who I call the bottom feeders in the ocean have to suffer because of what the top feeders have done deliberately with money, mismanagement, corrupt politics, corrupt economics. The bottom feeders are the ones that tend to suffer, and I don't want to cut them anymore.